Tesla cars in Dubai are suddenly showing their locations hundreds of kilometers away, deep inside the desert. Massive 300-meter-long cargo ships anchored in the Arabian Gulf are appearing as if they are sitting in the middle of the desert. At the same time, flights over the region are jumping positions in seconds, appearing near the Omani border moments later. This is not a simple software glitch. This is the story of an unseen weapon being deployed in the Middle East, one that could have far more terrifying consequences than we imagine. Welcome back to GlobalCast TV. In today's geopolitical landscape, the conflict between Iran and Israel is no longer limited to missiles, drones, or conventional weapons. A new invisible weapon has entered the battlefield, one that threatens not only military forces, but also civilians. This phenomenon is known as GPS spoofing and GPS jamming. GPS was first used in warfare during the Gulf War. At that time, the system consisted of only 16 satellites and was exclusively controlled by the United States military. Iraqi forces often lost their way in the vast desert, especially during fog, dust storms, or nighttime operations. In contrast, American forces used GPS to navigate precisely, even in the harshest conditions. They were able to move through the desert using routes Iraqi forces never imagined. This technological advantage allowed them to strike targets with pinpoint accuracy, destroying communication towers and bunkers efficiently. Now, decades later, GPS has evolved from a tool of precision into a weapon of disruption. In 2026, a new form of warfare has emerged. Not GPS itself, but anti-GPS technology. This phenomenon first gained attention during ongoing tensions involving Iran. Residents in Dubai began noticing strange behavior in navigation systems. It wasn't just Google Maps. Tesla vehicles, ride-hailing services like Uber and Careem, and even delivery drivers were showing incorrect locations, sometimes placing them in the middle of the sea or deep in the desert. Initially, these incidents were dismissed as technical glitches, but further investigation revealed something more serious. On flight tracking platforms like Flightradar24, aircraft positions were also behaving abnormally. For example, an Emirates flight arriving from Madrid showed a sudden location shift near the UAE border. Another flight displayed a zigzag pattern, something physically impossible for a real aircraft. Similar anomalies were observed in maritime tracking systems. Ships anchored in the Arabian Gulf appeared to be located on land, even near international borders. Some vessels along the Iranian coast were shown moving in circular patterns over land, something no ship could ever do. Eventually, experts began linking these anomalies to ongoing military activities in the region. Many modern drones rely heavily on GPS coordinates. If GPS signals are disrupted or manipulated, these drones can miss their targets entirely. Reports suggest that GPS signals across parts of the Middle East, including the UAE, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia, have been affected for several days. This raises a critical question. How can GPS be altered? There are two main methods involved: GPS jamming and GPS spoofing. At first glance, seeing an incorrect location on your phone might seem harmless, but the reality is far more dangerous. Because this same technology doesn't just affect maps, it can disrupt aircraft navigation, misguide ships, and interfere with military operations. And in a region already on edge, that makes it a weapon unlike anything we've seen before. Perhaps no one has yet fully realized just how dangerous this technology can be. But before diving into the complexities, let's first understand how GPS actually works. GPS, or the Global Positioning System, was originally developed by the U.S. Department of Defense in 1973 as a military tool. The first satellite was launched in 1978, and by 1995 the full system was operational. Initially, GPS was restricted to military use. However, after a Korean Airlines Flight 007 incident was accidentally shot down due to navigation errors, the United States made GPS available for civilian use worldwide. At its core, GPS works on a principle called trilateration. Satellites orbiting Earth continuously send radio signals that include extremely precise timing information. Your phone receives these signals and calculates how long each one took to arrive. Since these signals travel at the speed of light, your device can determine its exact position on Earth with remarkable accuracy. Your device determines how far away each satellite is. For example, if a signal takes 0.07 seconds to reach you, it means the satellite is about 21,000 kilometers away. But knowing the distance from just one satellite isn't enough. It only tells you that you're somewhere along a massive circular area. When your device receives a signal from a second satellite, another circle is formed. These two circles intersect at two possible points, meaning your location could be at either of those points. Then comes the third satellite. When the third circle overlaps with the previous two, it narrows everything down to a single intersection point, your exact location. The more satellites your device connects to, the more accurate your position becomes. Today, around 30+ GPS satellites orbit the Earth, transmitting signals on specific frequencies. For civilian use, GPS signals are typically sent at around 1,575 MHz, while military and advanced applications use different frequencies. However, there's a critical weakness. These signals travel from about 20,000 kilometers above Earth. By the time they reach your phone, they are extremely weak. Now imagine this. If someone sets up a powerful transmitter on the ground that broadcasts signals on the same GPS frequencies, your device won't be able to tell the difference between the real satellite signal and the fake one. As a result, your device loses its ability to determine its location accurately. This is known as GPS jamming. From a military perspective, this has both advantages and risks. The advantage is that GPS-guided drones or missiles can no longer hit their intended targets. But the downside is serious. Those drones don't just disappear, they crash somewhere. And that somewhere could be a civilian area instead of an empty desert. This is why in some conflict zones, drones disrupted by jamming have ended up hitting residential buildings. To overcome this problem, a more advanced technique is used. Instead of simply blocking signals, the system sends out a fake but believable GPS signal, one that looks exactly like a real satellite signal but contains incorrect timing data. Because this signal is much stronger and closer, devices lock onto it instantly. Even a tiny timing error, just 1 millisecond, can shift the calculated position by hundreds of kilometers. This technique is known as GPS spoofing. In simple terms, it's deception. From a military standpoint, this method offers a smarter advantage. Instead of causing a drone to crash unpredictably, it can be tricked into going somewhere else entirely. For example, if a drone is heading toward a city, spoofing can make it believe the target is in another direction. The drone changes course, flying toward an empty desert or open sea, where it can then be safely intercepted. While GPS spoofing can be advantageous for military purposes, for ordinary citizens, it has become a serious threat. The failure of apps like Uber, Careem, or delivery services may seem like a minor inconvenience. However, for aviation, GPS spoofing poses a far greater danger. Pilots may believe their systems are functioning correctly, even when the aircraft has actually deviated from its intended path. An aircraft's ground proximity warning system relies on accurate positioning data. If spoofing causes the system to miscalculate the aircraft's location while a mountain lies below or directly ahead, the pilot may receive no warning at all. Similarly, spoofing could unknowingly direct an aircraft into restricted or no-fly zones. During critical moments like takeoff and landing, even a small deviation could lead to a catastrophic accident. But the dangers don't end there. GPS spoofing also carries a hidden risk, one that could disrupt global financial systems within minutes. Modern stock and cryptocurrency markets rely on automated trading bots that execute decisions in fractions of a second. Every transaction is marked with a precise timestamp indicating exactly when a trade occurred. This timing is derived from GPS signals, as satellites use highly accurate atomic clocks. If spoofing alters the timing of even a single transaction, it can compromise the sequence of trades that follow. In extreme cases, this could destabilize or even crash financial markets. Just as GPS became a powerful military tool during the Gulf War, GPS spoofing is now emerging as a new kind of weapon in 2026. This technique has already been observed in conflicts such as the Russia-Ukraine war and tensions in the Middle East. However, one of the most striking examples occurred in 2011 when Iran successfully used spoofing to capture a highly classified American drone. In December 2011, a secret U.S. Lockheed Martin RQ-170 Sentinel drone was conducting reconnaissance over Iran. It had taken off from an American base in Afghanistan and was expected to return there after completing its mission. Through GPS spoofing, Iran tricked the drone into believing it was approaching its base in Afghanistan, even though it was still deep inside Iranian airspace. As a result, the drone attempted to land, thinking it was at its home base, but instead landed safely inside Iran. This incident shocked the world and demonstrated just how powerful and dangerous GPS spoofing could be. It proved that future wars may no longer be fought only with missiles and bullets, but with invisible radio signals and data manipulation. In such a world, victory will belong to those who master technology without becoming dependent on it. We hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and share it. Thank you for your support, and we'll see you in the next one.